Trevor. It's really good to have you on this time. And you've never been one of the speakers at our young speakers meeting in the past, but you're new this year, and we're really looking forward to having you. You have a couple of topics as well, along with Noah, Russell, and Jace. So just tell us very briefly about what the two topics are and just a brief introduction to yourself.
Sounds good. Well, hey everyone, I'm Trevor Smith from down here in Fort Worth, Texas area. And yeah, it'll be my first time. I think this is the second time I'll even be at Chapel Grove before. So I'm excited for the experience, get to be there for an actual meeting. And it's a good opportunity. And I think I heard Noah say when he had his introduction, I don't know if I've ever heard a young people's meeting doing a topic on Proverbs. So I'm excited for that. And my topics are rooted in wisdom. I didn't actually realize you're going to make that the whole even theme of the meeting. I think it's probably up there for the title. And so I'll have the first talk on Friday night, and then I'll have another one, I think, Saturday evening on the selfish fool. So I'll even, if it's okay, give a little insight. The little description you gave me for rooted in wisdom was on that topic. What is wisdom? What is the relationship between foolishness and sin? Why is it so important to be rooted in wisdom early in life? How do you get rooted in wisdom? And what is Proverbs? So I'm going to spend just a little bit of my time that I'll have on kind of trying to introduce the book of Proverbs, what it is, why it's important. And as I was mentioning to you before, there's a couple books I've been using to help get some good information on Proverbs. One of them is the one we all read, Skillful Living by Dale Davis. It's been pretty good. And this other one is by name man Richard P. Belcher, and he's got a whole series on wisdom literature for Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Job. I haven't finished all his section on Proverbs, but it's been pretty good. And I thought he had a good quote in his author's preface that kind of gets you started. He said, "There's been an explosion in the interest in wisdom, so that now many works are available to explain it. There's every opportunity for people to get wisdom, get insight," Proverbs 4, verse 5. "But if one pays close attention to the world of the 21st century, it seems apparent that the practical sensibilities that come from wisdom are found in very few places, which means that wisdom literature is needed now more than ever. The book of Proverbs lays the proper foundation for the education of the next generation. It gives parents practical guidelines for helping their children walk the way of wisdom grounded in the fear of the Lord." So that's kind of a good introduction, I think, to what Proverbs is and kind of what I'm trying to do to introduce the topic. He talks somewhere in here towards the beginning as well. I thought was real interesting how wisdom is truly even been there since the beginning. You know, when we do apologetic discussions, sometimes we make the argument uh, that there are constants in nature. There are things that God designed in the universe that have always been, and there's the sense in Proverbs that wisdom has been there since the beginning. It's not something that man's found. We know that man's wisdom. Someone Proverbs says, "The way that seems right to a man leads to death." Uh, we're discovering essentially the wisdom that, in a sense, God has already established since the beginning of the universe. There are things that are always true and that are always wise. And so that's something we ought to be looking for. It's directly connected with following God's commandments, how He's designed the earth, and how wisdom lines up with that. Noah's talking a bit about that with the fear of the Lord, that wisdom and that are tied directly together. So I'm glad he's speaking after me. And my text that I'll be using a little bit is from Proverbs chapter 4. I'm not going to read all of it, but there, it's just to give the context. It's Solomon talking to his children and saying, "Back in the day, my dad gave me this wisdom," and I quoted it. The author's preface. He says in Proverbs 4, verse 5, "Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget nor turn away from the words of my mouth." He jumps down to verse 7. "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding." So I'm going to use this text passage. For those that don't know, the first 9 chapters of Proverbs are more discourses on wisdom and different topics there. And so in this one, I think it has some good application. I'm going to focus on the young people as I can. But it's important for parents to know that your kids need to get wisdom. We're living in a foolish world. We have all these different topics. This world, they don't fear God. They scoff God. They scoff their fellow man. They're senseless in a sense. They don't know how to use logic, many of them, and sexually and morally foolish, and all these different ways that we need to understand it's important to get wisdom. And that's another point that I'm kind of spoiling, but that I enjoyed in my studies is that, wisdom is something that you can get. It is substantive. Hebrews 11 verse 1, I'd say it's similar to faith. That faith is the evidence of it's substantive, is the evidence of things not seen. I've heard preachers talk about that and say faith is not something out there in the ether you can't put your finger on. It's something that you can truly through evidence, have a solid foundation for your faith in God. And I'd say wisdom's something you can discover. Wisdom's something you can get and put practical application into your life. So that's kind of what I'll be talking about in that one.
You make it very easy to interview you. I appreciate it.
Good. I
Trevor,
hope
you live
try.
in Texas, I believe. Just
Yep.
as a summary, you're going to be talking about wisdom, getting wisdom, and what was the S topic again?
The other topic, the
Yeah,
selfish fool.
the selfish fool. See, I
Yes.
assigned you that topic, and I just needed your help there to remind me what
Yeah,
I
that's all
assigned
right.
you. Well, we're looking for
There's
both.
quite a few.
We're looking forward to both of those,
Yep.
and you can make plans to be here on May the 30th, 7 p.m. Saturday is May the 31st, 10 and 6, and then Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon we'll be finishing out at 10 and 2. We'll see you there.